Manuel Gillen, who everyone called Manny, lived inside a weather-beaten trailer parked at the edge of a forgotten patch of woods. It sat just far enough from the road to feel invisible, like a place the world had decided to pass over and never look back. Rust stained the metal siding. The windows stayed covered. The porch light almost never worked. From the outside, it looked like nothing lived there except silence. Inside that trailer lived Manny and his girlfriend Brianna Stallings. They were young, broke, and always one step away from chaos. People who knew them said they kept to themselves. People who knew them better said that was on purpose. They had a daughter together, or at least they used to. A year earlier, the baby had vanished from their lives. No announcements, no posts, no tearful pleas online. One day the child was there, and the next day she was gone. Manny and Brianna kept breathing, kept waking up, kept going to sleep like nothing had changed. The trailer stayed quiet, too quiet. Neighbors noticed things before they understood them. The way Brianna stopped bringing baby supplies into the trailer. The way Manny started burning trash late at night. The way the woods behind the trailer looked disturbed, like the earth had been turned over and pressed back down in a rush. Still, nobody called the police. Not yet. In places like this, people learn to mind their own business. Brianna family lived a few towns over, and they felt something was off long before they could explain why. Brianna had always been messy, dramatic, unpredictable, but she loved her child loudly. She sent pictures constantly. She talked about milestones like they were trophies. Then the messages slowed. The pictures stopped. Every excuse sounded thin. She said the baby was sick. Then she said the baby was with Manny family. Then she said people needed to stop asking so many questions. Her tone hardened. Her patience vanished. That was when suspicion started to grow roots. Manny, meanwhile, was unraveling in quieter ways. He stopped showing up for work consistently. He lost weight fast. His eyes looked empty, like sleep never fully reached him anymore. He spent long stretches pacing the property, staring into the woods behind the trailer like he was checking on something that might move. The woods themselves felt wrong. Even during daylight, they seemed darker than they should have been. Branches tangled together like locked fingers, the ground uneven, soft in places, packed hard in others. Animals avoided one small section entirely. No tracks, no droppings, just bare dirt and crushed leaves. Inside the trailer, time felt stuck. Baby toys sat untouched in a corner, covered in dust. A crib stood empty, mattress bare. The air carried a faint smell that never quite went away, something sour that cleaning could not fix. Brianna tried to play normal. She went out. She laughed too loud. She posted selfies like nothing had happened. But her eyes told a different story. They darted constantly. Her smiles fell apart fast. She jumped at every unexpected sound. The lies started stacking up on top of each other, heavy and unstable. When Brianna family pushed harder, asking to see the baby in person, Brianna snapped. She accused them of harassment. She blocked numbers. She disappeared for weeks at a time. That silence spoke louder than any explanation ever could. Eventually, a call was made, not dramatic, not emotional, just concerned. A family member told police that a child existed and now did not, and the parents were refusing to explain why. Detectives began quietly. No sirens, no raids, just questions. They checked records. No daycare enrollment, no medical visits. No proof the child had been seen by anyone outside that trailer in months. They knocked on doors. Neighbors hesitated, then shared what they had noticed. The late-night fires. The strange smells. The patch of woods that nobody walked through anymore. When investigators first approached Manny and Brianna, the couple acted annoyed more than afraid. They stuck to their story. The baby was fine. The baby was elsewhere. People needed to stop interfering, but their timelines did not match. Their details slipped. Manny looked to Brianna before answering questions, like he needed permission to speak. Brianna answered too fast, filling silence with nonsense. The detectives left that day without cuffs, but the air around the trailer shifted. Manny knew it. Brianna knew it. The ground behind their home knew it too. Days later, a search warrant came through. Officers walked the property slowly, methodically. They noted the burned pile. They noted the disturbed earth. When they reached the edge of the woods, the smell hit them first. Faint but unmistakable, they dug. What they found would shatter every assumption they had walked in with. A small body, wrapped hastily, buried shallow like whoever did it was in a hurry or panicking or both. Time and weather had done damage, but the truth was clear. The daughter Manny and Brianna pretended never existed had been there the whole time. The discovery should have been the end. It should have been justice beginning. But it was only the start of something far more disturbing. Because even with a body in the ground and lies stacked sky high, proving what really happened would be harder than anyone expected. And before the law could move fast enough, Manny and Brianna would find a way to slip through the cracks, leaving behind grief, rage, and a question that would haunt everyone involved. How could something so evil live so quietly for so long? The woods behind the trailer were sealed off with yellow tape, but the damage was already done. The truth had been pulled out of the dirt, and there was no putting it back. Detectives stood over the shallow grave in silence, staring at what remained of a life that never got the chance to become anything more. The discovery hit Brianna family first, hard. There was no scream loud enough to release that kind of pain. No explanation that could make sense of it. A child they loved had been buried like trash, less than 100 feet from where her parents slept every night. Manny and Brianna were taken in for questioning separately. Not arrested, not yet, just brought in, the kind of moment where everything feels suspended, like the universe is holding its breath. Manny cracked early, but not in the way detectives expected. He cried. He shook. He talked in circles. He blamed stress. He blamed money. He blamed Brianna without ever fully blaming her. He painted himself as weak, controlled, trapped in a situation that spun out of control. He said things happened fast, too fast, that he did not know how to stop it once it started. Brianna was different. She stayed cold, calm, almost bored. Her emotions came out sideways, irritation instead of grief, defensiveness instead of fear. She minimized everything. She reframed the past until it sounded like a misunderstanding instead of a murder. She described the child as difficult, as sick, as fragile. She suggested accidents. She suggested panic. She suggested that Manny had done things she never agreed with. Her words slid around the truth without ever landing on it. Detectives knew they were dealing with something darker than neglect, something intentional. But knowing and proving are two different things. The autopsy complicated everything. Time, moisture, and the shallow burial had erased details investigators needed most. Cause of death could not be determined with certainty. No clear trauma, no definitive timeline, just enough evidence to confirm death, not enough to say exactly how it happened. That uncertainty became Manny and Brianna's shield. Their attorneys moved fast. They tore through the case piece by piece. No eyewitnesses, no confession that held up, no forensic proof of violence, just suspicion, grief, and a body that could not speak for itself. Charges were discussed. Then delayed, then quietly dropped. The couple walked out of custody as free people. The families were left stunned. Detectives were left furious. The community felt sick. Everyone knew what had happened. Everyone felt it in their bones, but the law does not work on feelings. Manny disappeared almost immediately. He bounced between friends' couches and cheap motels. He stopped answering calls. He stopped showing his face. He looked like a man running from something that never stopped following him. Brianna stayed loud. She went online. She posted rants. She played the victim. She accused the system of harassment. She framed herself as a misunderstood mother crushed by rumors and judgment. She never mentioned the grave, never mentioned the woods, never mentioned the baby, but cracks started to show. People noticed how she talked about the past, how she slipped up on dates, How she forgot which lies she had told to which person. Screenshots piled up, messages resurfaced, old posts where the baby had vanished from existence overnight. Detectives kept watching, even when their hands were tied. They followed social media. They tracked movements. They waited for mistakes, and then one came. A former friend of Brianna stepped forward, someone who had been inside the trailer months before the child disappeared, someone who remembered the screaming, the sudden silence, the frantic cleaning, the way Brianna had begged for help, then threatened when questions were asked. It was not enough for murder charges, but it was enough to reopen the case. Pressure returned like a storm cloud. This time, Manny felt it the hardest. The weight of what they had done, combined with the constant fear of prison, started crushing him. He began drinking heavily. He started posting strange messages late at night. Guilt leaked out in pieces, regret, anger, fear. Brianna tried to control the narrative again, but Manny was slipping out of reach. He talked to the wrong people. He said too much. He hinted at things he should have taken to his grave. Then one night, Manny vanished for real. No posts, no sightings, no contact. His phone went dead. His social accounts froze mid-spiral. Police searched, but there was nothing concrete. No car abandoned. No body, just absence. Speculation exploded. Some believed he ran. Some believed he ended his life. Some believed Brianna knew more than she was saying, and Brianna did nothing to clear it up. She moved. She changed numbers. She cut ties. She tried to erase the last year like it never happened, but the internet never forgets, and neither do grieving families. Brianna family pushed for justice relentlessly. They organized. They spoke out. They shared the story everywhere they could. They made sure their granddaughter's name stayed alive even when the system failed her. The case became a quiet stain on the department. A reminder that sometimes the truth is obvious but unreachable. Then, years later, a tip came in. A man matching Manny's description had been arrested in another state under a different name. Older, thinner, haunted, fingerprints confirmed it. He had not escaped guilt. He had just been carrying it somewhere else. Investigators reopened everything. This time, Manny talked. Not all at once, not cleanly, but enough. He described the day everything went wrong, the rage, the fear, the moment he realized they could not undo what had happened. He described Brianna's role, her anger, her lack of hesitation, her decision to bury instead of call for help. He said the woods were her idea. The truth finally had a voice, but justice would not come easily, and what happened next would leave everyone questioning whether closure is even real, because sometimes the truth does not heal. It just leaves scars deeper than the lies ever did. By the time Manny's story reached detectives, the damage had already stretched across years and lives that could never be put back together. His words came slow, weighed down by guilt and exhaustion, not a dramatic confession, not a moment of redemption, just a broken man finally admitting that the truth had been eating him alive. He described the day like it never stopped replaying in his head. The trailer was hot and tense. Money was gone, patience was gone, sleep had been gone for days, the baby cried, Brianna snapped. What started as frustration turned into something ugly and irreversible. Panic followed immediately, then silence. That silence became the loudest thing in their lives. Manny admitted he froze. He admitted he knew calling for help could have saved everything, but fear won. Brianna took control. She made decisions fast and cold. She told him they would lose everything if anyone found out. She told him the only way forward was to pretend nothing happened. They wrapped their daughter's body. They carried her into the woods behind the trailer like it was just another chore. Manny said he threw up afterward. Brianna did not. The woods became their secret keeper. Detectives matched his statement with what they already knew. The timeline fit. The behavior fit. The lies fit. For the first time, the story stopped feeling slippery. It finally had weight, but the law still demanded proof. Manny's testimony reopened wounds and ignited rage. Brianna was arrested again, this time facing charges tied to concealment, abuse, and obstruction. Not the full weight of murder, not the justice the family wanted, but enough to pull her back into the system she believed she had beaten. In court, Brianna looked smaller, older, still defiant, still empty. She never showed real remorse, never acknowledged her daughter by name. She framed herself as overwhelmed, misunderstood, persecuted. The jury did not buy it. She was convicted on the charges available. The sentence was not life. It was not equal to the loss, but it was something, a cage, a record, a truth stamped into history. Manny Fate was quieter. He took a plea. He accepted responsibility in a way Brianna never did. He admitted he failed his child, failed to protect her, failed to speak when it mattered. He was sentenced to, though lighter, marked forever as a man who watched evil happen and did not stop it. Neither sentence felt like justice. The family said it out loud. No prison term could measure a stolen life. No ruling could give them back the little girl who never got to grow up. Closure felt like a myth people told themselves to survive. The trailer was torn down months later, the land reclaimed slowly by weeds and trees. The woods still stood, unchanged, holding onto a memory nobody wanted to visit. Locals avoided the area. Animals returned, but something about that ground always felt heavy. The case faded from headlines, but not from memory. Online, people argued. Some blamed Brianna alone. Some blamed Manny's weakness. Some blamed the system. Everyone agreed on one thing. The warning signs were there. The silence had been loud, and nobody had acted fast enough. Brianna's daughter's name was finally spoken publicly, finally acknowledged. Vigils were held. Candles burned. Photos were shared of a smiling baby who deserved so much more than what she got. Her story became a reminder, not just of evil, but of how easily it hides behind routine and excuses. How monsters do not always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like young parents struggling in a trailer at the edge of the woods. Manny disappeared again after his sentencing, this time into prison walls. Brianna followed a different path, but one just as confined. Their futures shrank to schedules and concrete and regrets. The woods stayed quiet. And the ground stayed full of memories. Somewhere between justice and failure, the truth finally surfaced. Too late to save a life. Too late to erase pain, but loud enough to make sure the lie never lived again. Because even when killers walk free for a while, the truth does not forget, and neither does the earth.